One of the things that has not changed is the election of a president, whether of a chapter or a national fraternity. Let's hear what Estelle Leonard had to say about the privilege of being Alpha Chi Omega's first president.
25 years ago, when Alpha Chi Omega was celebrating our 25th anniversary, Dean Howe wrote me a letter in which he states that he was the first to think of fraternity for us. He also states that he had his plans in fair shape before he discussed the matter with anyone. Having finally decided that we should have a Greek letter fraternity of our very own, 7 girls were invited to be the founders. These 7 met in a small room near the front entrance of Music Hall, known as the Music School Library. The center table held papers and magazines for the entertainment of students waiting for music lessons. We met at 7 o'clock one evening and elected officers. Greatly to my consternation and over my protest, I was elected the first president and Mrs. Cunningham the first secretary. I had never been president of anything, and I felt totally inadequate for the responsibility. But the election stood. As to my job as the first president, I do not recall much about it. As we had 4 presidents the first year, I was not in office long enough to gain much experience as an executive nor as a disciplinarian. I do not recall using the big stick on any of the founders for frivolous conduct, but they were a lovely group, a lively group, lovely too. And perhaps I should have called them down, for I find reference in 2 letters from Amy Du Bois received in later years of the extremely heavy dignity which I assumed when in the president's chair, and how persistently she and others tried to make me laugh in meetings. We soon discarded our first idea of a purely musical fraternity, as there were not enough suitable prospects to sustain a chapter. So we opened our membership to liberal arts students who must take music. Although we did not practice Robert's Rules of Order, perhaps didn't even know there was such a guide, and although we seemed to spend much time electing officers, we had really made progress. And considering our substantial structure today, we must have laid down a pretty good foundation.
As Estelle pointed out, the founders were lovely, lively young women. Each brought her unique sense of self to the fraternity. Here is how Nellie Gamble Child described her 6 founding sisters.
I shall never forget my first impression of Annie Allen Smith. Straight as an arrow, strong and forceful, one you just like to be with. Estelle Leonard, dignified, but always with a cheery word and a pleasant smile. Olive Burnett Clark, enthusiastic, full of ideas, and a way of carrying them through in a very friendly manner. Bertha Denison Cunningham, sweet and modest, a lovable disposition as you know her today. Bessie Grooms Keenan, unassuming, a strong character and a charming personality. Amy Du Bois Reeve, called by us the little girl with the big voice and our songbird. Rather quiet she was, and full of fun. These were the girls who laid the foundation, and to many of you they are not unknown. Our hopes and aspirations for the future were founded on the principle of true sisterhood, mutual helpfulness, congenial fellowship, and on our motto, Ye daughters of music, come up higher.
I quote Olive in her description of Nellie. When I first saw her, I thought she was the loveliest girl I had ever seen. Tall, slim, and graceful, with fair hair and blue eyes. Gentle in voice and manner, she was admired by all who knew her for her fine, good qualities and personal charm. These 7 women represent more than 12 decades of growth, inspiration, accomplishment, and purpose. Fashions have changed, technology has developed, words have been altered, and rules amended to achieve relevance in the world today and tomorrow. If Amy, Anna, Bertha, Bessie, Estelle, Nellie, and Olive were with us today, they would be proud of the progress Alpha Chi Omega has made since that evening in that waiting room so long ago. They would marvel that the very values on which they built Alpha Chi Omega's foundation still hold strong. These words of inspiration from Olive not only connect us back to 1885, but also carry us forward into eternity.
I must remind you that I am speaking in the fraternity language of 1885, for in no way was Alpha Chi Omega different at birth from other fraternities, except in the chosen art. These incidents are but the trend of the time, for fraternity does not change, it develops. Development is in the living of our ideals, in the heart that is shielded by the emblem of sisterhood, in the head where thoughts are unselfish and pure, by words that are kind, by acts that are sincere, by deeds that are worthy, by faith, hope, and love of Alpha Chi Omega. Do you wonder that we cherish this spot in our hearts and in our minds? Do you wonder that it is a spot made tender as we remember the days we spent together paving the way to build a fraternity all our own? For I saw a new music store and a bare little waiting room with shelves and chairs and a floor with no covering and a table all strewn with papers and books and a door that opened to a center hallway. But the part of the picture so plain and so real that opened were the 7 young women, excited and happy, and their faces I could see as clearly as could be. There was Anna and Amy and Nell, Bertha, Bess, and Estelle, and the other one was me. 'Twas sweet to know our dreams came true, that we did attain the heights of our ambition, though oft times through the years our souls have been weary with troubles and sorrow and the ill what life brings to us as we each go our way. The sunshine of a beautiful and lasting friendship, sealed with pledges of trust and love, creeps in our hearts and scatters all the shadows, bringing glorious day. For 'tis the spirit of youth that cancels the years and strengthens our unity, that keeps sacred our vows and the pledges we made to our beloved fraternity. We had a longing deep down in our hearts to wear a badge and be like the girls, some our very best friends who wore the kite and the key. We wanted to know all the Greek letters on every fraternity pin. We wanted to live the life of a college girl without a moment marred, and not be singled out with a knowing glance and a whispered, "Too bad she's a barb." We wanted to spike and pledge and initiate and have fraternity meetings too. We wanted the friendships that were bound by a sisterhood, loyal and true. But you had the vision that broadened each year, and the courage and the ability to, and the love of ideals, and the strength of will to carry our beginnings through. You had the faith in the things we must do in the strife of keeping in line. You had loyalty, unselfish and true, and sincerity, noble and fine. So we gave you us, and you gave us you in the bonds of our fraternity, binding never to sever, forever and ever through eternity. Thank you.